Okay, today's topic is parallel and perpendicular lines. So we're going to be writing equations of lines that are parallel and perpendicular. But first we need to remember what the slope-intercept form equation is. Slope-intercept form equation, y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and the b is your y-intercept. Okay, so that's very important, something that we covered in first semester and have that written down. So now we're going to talk about parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that never intersect. Okay, and lines that never intersect means that they never touch each other. If they never touch each other, they have to be lines that have the exact same slope and a different y-intercept. I'm going to abbreviate y-intercept to there. The reason why they have to have a different y-intercept is because if they have the exact same slope and they have the same y-intercept, then it's the same line. So you can have the same slope and a different y-intercept and they are parallel. Okay, let's go down and look at some examples. The examples here, and I'm going to slide my paper up, says write the equation of a line that is parallel to y equals 2x minus 3 but has a y-intercept of 6. So I know that they have the exact same slope and a different y-intercept. I also know that my y-intercept is this value. So my new equation, y equals 2x and has a y-intercept of 6. This is a positive 6. So y equals 2x plus 6. And we're done. That's all you're doing for parallel equations. Slope stays the same, a new y-intercept goes there. Let's look at the next one. It says write the equation of a line that is parallel to y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5, but has a y-intercept of negative 7. So parallel, I know that it's going to be y equals negative 2/3x because the slope stays the same. But I have a new y-intercept, and my new y-intercept is negative 7. Make sense? The third and the last one, it says write 3 equations that are parallel to y equals negative 2/5 x minus 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go y equals negative 2/5 x, and I'm going to go plus 1. Now it says write 3 different equations. This is the first one. I want you to write the second and the third on your paper, and we'll come in and check it tomorrow. So that's parallel equations. Same slope, just changing your y-intercept, which is the b. Now let's look at perpendicular equations. Perpendicular and parallel often go together, okay? And perpendicular equations are lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle. And for those lines to intersect at a 90-degree angle, the line's slope has to be, it's 2 words, 2 things. The first one is opposite. And opposite in math means one has to be positive and one has to be negative. The other thing they have to be is reciprocal. And reciprocals have to do with fractions, and that's where you flip the fraction. So again, calling on vocabulary that you have heard before. So let's look down at our example down here. It says, write the equation of a line that is perpendicular to y equals 3/4 x minus 3 and has a y-intercept of 6. So I'm going to start off y equals. Now my slope is 3/4. Perpendicular slope has to be opposite. So since it's positive, we're going to make it negative. And it has to be reciprocal. So instead of 3/4, we're going to make it 4/3 x. And a new y-intercept of 6. Well, my y-intercept is right there. So instead of a negative 3, we're going to put plus 6. And that's it. Our equation is done. Okay? So we're changing the slope 2 different ways and adding whatever y-intercept we need to add. If we look at the next one, it says write an equation of a line that is perpendicular. I'm going to underline perpendicular just to bring my attention to it. Perpendicular to y equals negative 5x plus 2, but has a y-intercept of negative 7. So again, we start off with y equals. Now, it is negative 5x. So what I want to do is I need to go opposite. Since it's negative, I'm going to make it positive. And reciprocal, flip the fraction. Well, 5 is really 5 over 1. Okay? So I'm going to flip that. So it would be a positive 1 over 5x. And then instead of plus 2, my y-intercept now is going to be minus 7. Okay? Again, we have just written an equation that is perpendicular to this. And if you were to graph them, they would give you 90-degree angle. The last one, again, says write 3 equations that are perpendicular to y equals 5, 6x minus 2. So I'm going to start off, number 1, I'm going to go y equals, and again, perpendicular slope. Instead of positive 5/6, it needs to be opposite, so negative, and it needs to be reciprocal. So instead of 5 over 6, we're going to go 6 over 5x. And I'm going to put a different y-intercept in there, and I'm going to put plus 1. Okay? Again, just like I had you do in the last one, you do number 2 and number 3 and bring them to class. This is parallel and perpendicular equations. If you have any questions, watch the video back or go find another video online that will explain parallel and perpendicular equations. Have a great day.